Dear students, நாம இப்போ பார்க்க போகிறது +2 Physics தமிழ்நாடு ஸ்டேட் போர்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சாப்டர் எலக்ட்ரோஸ்டாட்டிக்ஸ். இது வரைக்கும் இந்த சேனல் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணாதவங்க சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. இப்போ நாம் பார்க்க போகிற டாபிக் தி எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்ட் டியூ டு அன் எலக்ட்ரிக் டைபோல். அதில் இதுக்கு முன்னாடி வீடியோவில் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேஸ் பார்த்தோம். Now we are going to see the second case. That is the electric field due to an electric dipole at a point on the equatorial plane. So this is the second case that we are going to see now. First case வந்து electric field due to an electric dipole at a point on the axial line பார்த்தோம். இப்போ equatorial planeல அந்த பாயிண்ட் இருந்தால் electric field எப்படி இருக்கும்? What will be the value of that electric field due to that electric dipole? That we will see. For that, you consider this diagram. So here there are two dissimilar charges, plus q and minus q, separated by a distance 2a. So this is the positive charge and this one is the negative charge, and these two charges are separated by a distance 2a, and this is the equatorial plane that we are considering, and the point is situated at the point C. Here the dipole moment is given by this minus p vector, and the electric field due to positive charge is given by E plus, and the electric field due to a negative charge is E minus, directed towards the negative charge. E plus is directed away from the positive charge, and the total electric field is given by this arrow mark E total. Okay, now we will consider these points as C, which is equidistant from the charges plus q and minus q, and the point C is situated on the equatorial plane. Then the magnitude of the electric fields of plus q and minus q will be the same, and the direction of E plus is along BC and the direction of E minus is along CA. Now what we have to do is we have to resolve the electric fields due to positive charge and negative charge into two components. One component will be parallel to the dipole axis and the other will be perpendicular to it. For that you can refer this diagram. Here you see the electric field due to the positive charge E plus and the electric field due to the negative charge E minus. That will be resolved into two components. If this angle is theta, then the component along the horizontal direction is given by E plus cos theta, and the vertical component is given by E plus sin theta. Similarly, for the electric field due to a negative charge, this will be resolved into E minus cos theta along the horizontal component, that is the horizontal component of the electric field, and the vertical component is given by E minus sin theta. Now here you can see that the vertical components will be parallel but oppositely directed. Here the vertical components will be oppositely directed, therefore they will get cancelled. And here this E plus cos theta and E minus cos theta will be parallel to each other, and therefore they should be taken into account. Now you see that the one component is parallel to the dipole axis and the other will be perpendicular to it. The perpendicular components E plus sin theta and E minus sin theta will be oppositely directed, and therefore they will get cancelled, and the magnitude of the total electric field at point C is the sum of the parallel components of E plus and E minus. And the direction is along minus P as shown in that diagram. So the total electric field is given by minus E plus cos theta P minus E minus cos theta P unit vector. Now the expression for the total electric field is given by E plus equal to E minus, that will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square plus a square. So we have to calculate what will be the total electric field by substituting the equations. 1.19 into equation 1.18, we will get E total equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2q cos theta by r square plus a square p unit vector. That's equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2qa by r square plus a square power 3 by 2 p unit vector, because we know that cos theta can be written as a by root of r square plus a square. For E total will be equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught p by r square plus a square power 3 by 2, because we know that P, the dipole moment, is given by 2QAP unit vector. Now, at very large distances, R is comparatively greater than A. This equation 1.20 can be written as E total equal to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon P by R cube for R greater than A. That's the equation 1.21. Now, what are the important inferences from these equations? For very large distances, the magnitude of the electric field at points on the dipole axis is twice the magnitude of the electric field at points on the equatorial plane. This you can compare the equations and arrive at this conclusion. And the direction of the electric field at points on the dipole axis is directed along the direction of dipole moment vector P, but at points on the equatorial plane, it is directed opposite to the dipole moment vector, that is along minus P. Now the second point is, at very large distances, the electric field due to dipole varies as 1 by r cube. You should note that for a point charge, the electric field varies as 1 by r square. That means the electric field due to a dipole at very large distances goes to zero faster than the electric field due to a point charge. The reason for this behavior is that at very large distance, the two charges appear to be close to each other and neutralize each other. Now, these two equations 1.17 and 1.21 are valid only at very large distances. That means R is greater than A. Suppose the distance 2a approaches 0 and q approaches infinity, such that the product of 2aq is equal to p is finite, then the dipole is called a point dipole. So for those point dipoles, the equations will be exact and will be true for any distance r.